talked about the feeling and action cycle. And this was you guys' homework that we got 2 people that did it, but let's go over it real quick.
Yeah, that's like,
Just
that's
last
like
time that
2
we
weeks
met.
old.
Fellas and
It's a week
actions.
ago.
Fellas and
Because
actions.
we haven't met since a week. So met since a week before. So we talked about the feeling and action work cycle. Remember that you guys, I gave you all these case studies, and I had you pick a case study, and then you put it into the feeling and action worksheet. You all remember this?
I don't
I
remember how I had, but
Yeah, you weren't here.
But last time I was saying we worked on some other stuff.
I have your classroom, but I don't have your homework. So I think I have your classroom that you did. No, actually, maybe you weren't here because this is the in-class activity. So I only have James, and I have one with no name on it. Is this one yours? Is that your handwriting?
That's the handwriting.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
so
right,
this is your in-class activity, but not your homework. Okay, so, but let's review this real quick, and then we're gonna hop into today's lesson. So, on the feeling and activity assignment, you guys were asked to talk about, so let me give you real quick the case studies, so we can go and kind of review them. Okay. So on the case study, we had like about 5 case studies on here, and then you guys were asked to pick one of them and put it into the feeling and action worksheet. So you were asked like what were the triggering situations. So for example, let's do wheel.
Yo.
Will.
Okay. So this was the example that we used last time in the feeling and action cycle. We did, I think this was one of you guys' we did in here. But anyway, let's take one of the ones off of the sheet. So let's go with wheel, which is the top one, right? And so
like will, like what's the definition of it? Like I will do this or what?
No. So if you look on here, I know you were absent that day. These are all different situations for examples of their case study. So we were asked to pick one of those case studies and to put it into the feeling and action cycle. So right now we're just going over one of those. So I'm going to pick out wheels, and let's do wheels together. I don't have any paper. Okay. So if we did wheels,
Put it back up together.
I got it, I think.
I still got to cite some papers and stuff. Yeah, right by some papers.
Unfortunately, we're out of paper, so I gotta make it work.
Let's have an on
Okay.
time uniform, this right here.
Yeah, I was on time.
You weren't on time if you weren't in the class.
I was on time when
8:30.
Okay,
I broke my neck. I
so-
came from
So,
Iowa.
Let's
I wasn't
focus
on time, I
on-
watched y'all pull up.
You saw me.
Let's focus on the assignment right now, guys.
Nah, I came in before everybody.
Real, but you gotta be in the
I
classroom.
was in here, I was in there eating my breakfast.
Y'all was on time.
I don't eat in here. When I ever eat in here? It's crazy, so I'm just gonna get that tip from you. Cause I'm eating my little bananas and stuff at
I
the
know
table.
good
Jody,
minutes.
can you come hold this for me too?
I know good minutes.
It's crazy. I don't know, I'm gonna take my loss in there.
Okay. So we're looking at Will's case study for today, right? And we're going to do the work and financial over here.
I don't get what you're talking about. Will, you talking about somebody? He
Yeah, I should've came
No,
in
that's
here
his
till
name.
9:30 or something for me. I've
Yeah.
been outside since 8:30 this morning, bro. Sitting in my car in front of the building. Nobody be here on time to open the door for me.
Okay. All right. So looking at Will, can someone read Will's case study for me?
I agree. Will feels like he should have what he wants when he wants. It doesn't like to wait after being released from prison. Things don't seem to be moving fast enough. He's doing the right thing, and he feels like people shouldn't give him a chance. He get turned down for another job.
Okay. So what's the real issue with Will going on here?
He felt like people don't.
What's the triggering situation?
The triggering situation is he go back to the streets.
Okay.
That's the triggering situation.
So
And the good situation is they trying to get a job and they take telling him down.
okay. So in the first line, it kind of said what
Hold
the
on, I'm
trigger.
gonna stop it one more time. That's wrong as hell, man. I ain't trying to get on your nerves or nothing, Miss Angel. But I got on full uniform and everything. And,
So you
and
got
on time.
I'm sorry.
And on time. And I'm just looking at theirs and I'm monitoring mine though.
Okay.
I'm
You
just
do
saying.
have on your uniform,
So-
Will. But I asked you several times to come in here
So
when you
they
were
was on
eating your
time?
breakfast. Who was on time? These checks means that you were not, and then the dollar signs is what I use for when you were
So,
actually.
hey, I don't know, eat my breakfast here by my breakfast.
Yes, but when I say it's time to come in
When
here,
I come in here,
But you didn't
I
come,
peel my
man.
orange.
It's a camera,
Then I peel my orange
camera.
and come in the classroom.
no,
I'm
you
not-
said,
then I come
I
and
asked
eat
you
my
a
orange.
couple of times, Real, to come.
I
for
said,
that
here I
to
come.
come.
I ain't go out
But
there
you
to talk to
didn't
Danny
come.
Lee.
What?
So,
Huh?
I would talk to her afterwards about it.
okay.
I'm just saying, that's crazy though, man, because y'all monitoring this though.
You know,
I don't want nothing to do. I get up early and come from Indiana to come here.
Okay.
I don't understand, man. Like,
All right, guys, come on, Real. Let's focus on the class. Okay.
man, that's crazy.
So,
man. Y'all
we said-
take it
we
from me,
said
man.
what
I
his
got to
thoughts
move on. I
were.
come and do what I got to do.
How we gonna do it? Thoughts and
Okay.
feelings.
So we're doing the triggering situation, which goes in the center. So the triggering situation is he wants what he wants when he wants it, right?
Yeah, but he go back to the streets if he didn't get what he wants.
Okay. So that's the triggering situation. As a result of him having the belief or the attitude that he wants what he wants when he wants it, how does that affect all of these areas that are here, right? So after being released from prison, things don't seem to be moving fast enough for him. So he's doing the right thing and he feels like people should give him a chance. He gets turned down for another job. So what are the possible things
What he didn't do?
that will happen with him because he's feeling like, man, I should get what I want when I want it. Like, I did my time in prison, now I'm trying to come out here like somebody should give me a job, and that's not happening for him. As a result of that not happening for him, what can happen in these areas for him? So let's talk about the relationship portion.
Relationship is he probably can't feed his family. So
Okay.
He going through something.
Can't feed family. So what happens as a result of him can't feeding his family?
Go back to the way you did at first, like robbery, something
Okay.
with a person. Like,
Okay, so he's
what
going
he need.
back to his old lifestyle.
Yeah,
We're gonna say criminal lifestyle.
yeah, total lifestyle.
Okay. Come on, Ray, I need you to get your head in the game.
Trying to.
Okay, so what about if he has some goals? I want you to answer this one for me, Ray. If he has some goals, what's gonna happen to his goals as a result of him not being able to get what he wants when he wants it?
You can go down the drain.
Okay, so possibly go down the drain, right?
For his family. He's everything, and he's going back to where he just came from.
Okay. So you said hurt his family?
Yeah, hurt his family because he didn't go back to prison, incarcerated.
Okay. Possibly go back. All right. Okay, so what's going on in the legal area? What's gonna happen as far as legal?
Legal, yeah, he can just push harder, like trying to get a job.
So, like if he gets into trouble as a result of the things that are happening over here, right? When you said that he goes back to his criminal lifestyle, how does that affect legal? Like what's gonna happen? What are the legal ramifications? Okay.
You put that down from legal.
So if he goes back to a criminal lifestyle, and if he goes to jail, he has to get out of jail. What's gonna happen legally? What would happen? He might have to pay for what?
Pay for a lawyer.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you just turn yourself back down the drain. Now you ain't gonna get a job. You just got you another felony. 2 felonies don't work for you.
Okay. Lawyer.
By not having a job, you might can't pay for it. So,
Right.
you know, PD.
Might have a felony. And you said he might have to get a public defender, right?
Yeah, and the money with no lawyer, you can get no job.
Okay. Okay. Now, so let's move to the last area, which is the working financial. So now that he's gone back to his criminal lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So he's lost out on reaching some of his goals. He got all these legal fees and possibly have another felony. What's going to happen to his work-life financial life?
I got to turn up again, but if he wanted a job, yeah, he'll push hard.
Okay, so he'll have to push hard.
Push hard. Because one job turning down, it's always a lot more.
Okay. Alright. Anything else gonna happen? Because in the meantime, while he don't have a job, he don't have what? He don't have no what?
Money and
Yeah,
nothing.
okay, so no money.
Ain't pay his bills.
So all of this negative stuff followed as a result of having his belief or attitude about he wants what he wants when he wants, right? So if he would have changed his belief to maybe something good is gonna happen for me, I know it, then all of this will actually change as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
changed, like these things don't happen good for him. Like, he wanted to go back to prison. He'll push harder. One job turned down,
Mhm.
2 jobs turned down, that was the 3rd job.
Okay. So that was the review. So now we're gonna hop into today's lesson because it's so long. Okay.
Freddie, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. So today we are talking about how to identify our feelings, especially the feelings that we find that are risky. So we need to figure out a better way to handle our risky feelings. If we aren't able to figure them out, then we're going to have some problems, right?
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about not managing the risky feelings per se, but being able to recognize what's going on, being able to recognize what's going on with you in the moment, okay? So how do you know when you're having a risky feeling?
It doesn't take you feeling with some real insights. Like a risky feeling is when you're around somebody, you probably feel bad, like you feel like something gonna happen.
Okay. So like, remember we talked about like your body gives you signals.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying like tingly or
Mhm.
a certain feeling in your gut or something like
Mhm.
this ain't gonna be right. I don't trust this.
Right. So yeah, that's our body's way of warning us through body languages. We see physical signs to let us know that we're about to have a problem, right?
Mhm.
So like, for example, for myself, when I'm getting angry or I get a little bit nervous, my palms get sweaty. That's
sometimes
my-
you
yeah.
sweat.
Yeah, so that's my body's way of signaling like, hey, something's not right here, right?
Mhm.
Okay? And so once we recognize that about ourselves, we gotta know what we gotta do to get ourselves back in check, right? Okay, so let's think about the physical warning signs that are associated with the feelings. So we had a worksheet, Jody, you weren't here for that because you've been out for a week, but we had a worksheet that required us to name 3 risky feelings, right? That we felt in the past. So I'm gonna see if I can.
That's a lot of feelings though. Sometimes you have a good feeling, sometimes you have a bad feeling.
Yeah. So remember we have that the feelings worksheet. Okay, list 3 feelings that have caused you. So I'm gonna give you this sheet. Well, actually, you can do this for me now.
Okay.
Write down on the back of that paper 3 feelings that have caused you problems in the past, like have caused you the most problems. What are those 3 feelings?
risky. The feelings like three feelings I got is like one depth. That'd be sad.
Okay, sad. Okay, and then
Good. Yeah, you got happiness.
okay. So those three things are the things that have caused you the most issues in your past. Okay. So question. So is it easier to tell if you are having a risky feeling or if someone else is? Like, can you tell if I'm having some risky thoughts?
Right now, yeah.
What do you think my risky thoughts are right now?
Somebody want me to give card. Yeah, like, yeah, it's true.
Okay.
I
Okay.
reach your man right now.
Okay.
All
Cool.
them got dog. I'm making no gift. That was
Well,
participate.
that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're feeling that.
Okay. But is it easy to tell when you are having some risky feelings, or so you are
Yeah,
able
because
to?
I'd be feeling down. You could tell something wrong with me. And I don't like to talk. I had teary eyes.
Okay. 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 So our bodies react in different ways. Not everyone would have the same warning signs. So the warning signs that you have might be different from what I'll have or what Aaron have or somebody else in the class will have. So like I said, for me and my sweaty palms, but we can have like similar experiences, right? Okay, so like you said, sometimes like when you get kind of feeling kind of down, you get a little teary eyed. That's it. I kind of go through the same thing sometimes too. Okay, so the most important thing is for you to be aware of the particular warning signs that that your body gives off, so that you will know how to avoid or how to counteract those feelings, right? Okay, so we're going to watch some videos and we're going to give you a chance to practice connecting warning signs and feeling. So I have 3 videos that you're going to watch, and then you're going to be writing down the physical sensations in the body language that you see from the person that they're experiencing, and then we'll stop and talk about it. So I'm going to show one, and you're going to do the work while it's going on, and then we're going to stop and talk about each video, okay? So you're going to be watching, and you're going to write down their physical sensations, their body language, and what they were feeling, okay? All right. Okay, so I'll put this over here. So you can see. Okay, maybe not. Oh, it's coming up.
My Wi-Fi ain't good.
Yeah, we're using the hotspot. Let's see if I can turn it up a little bit. It's all the way up. I know it's hard to hear. And it keeps stopping.
I got like a little buffer.
Okay. Okay. Physical sensations, so like, what did he show you anything like outwardly that was going on? Like, did you see him fidgety? Did you see maybe sweating a little bit?
Palm sweat. Put your hotspot on.
I know.
Oh, show my hotspot.
Ain't pay his bill in the month.
It's like I pause it and then play.
Okay. So he said, what did he say?
Palm sweat. I ain't got no time.
So the,
Body language.
mhm.
Man.
Okay. So he said, Real, I need you to sit over here because I need you to watch a video.
Yeah, no. I can see
My phone. Sorry about that, guys. So you have an assignment that we're working on, Real. We're watching this video, and when you watch the video, you're gonna tell me what are the physical sensations, the body language, the feeling that the person is showing in the video, and then we're gonna have a discussion about it. So you can jot them down as we're talking about them. You wanna use this folder, Okay. Okay. So let me go back to this one. It's kind of hard to hear. I should have brought my speakers. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was the way to turn it up. So did you hear what he was saying?
Can't hear him.
Okay, so he said his heart was racing, his palms were sweaty. So are those physical sensations, body language, or feeling?
What's that? He said, no, he said,
No, not necessarily.
Body,
So what do you say, Ray?
No, my bad. Physical, body language.
Yeah, physical sensation.
Yeah,
So
body language.
palm sweaty, heart racing, those will go under the physical sensation, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what did you see in his body language that kind of showed you that he was a little bit upset?
Moving around a lot, like switching around, like
Mhm.
you fed up.
Hmm. The way he moved his arms and stuff kind of indicated like he's not a happy camper, right? Okay. And then what feeling did he say that he had?
Go back.
Okay. Yeah, it is really low. I forgot about my speakers. Sorry, guys. Okay, it's buffering again. Listen. Okay. So he said you got me kind of angry right now. So that would be his feeling. Just in case you couldn't hear it. He said you got me kind of angry right now. So that's how he's feeling, right? So think about ourselves when or yourself rather, when you're in a situation. Like you have to be able to recognize what's going on in your body and recognize the feeling. Because sometimes we can mistake the feeling, right? Like sometimes we tend to only go to I'm angry, I'm mad, or even I'm happy, when it's a whole range of emotions in between those emotions, right? So the real talk, if it's a situation where, let's say you're in a group of people and something pops off or whatever, like say, Big Mama walk up to you and start snapping on you while you're in front of your guys, right? The first thing that most people would say is that I was angry. But if you really analyze the situation, you're right, you were embarrassed in that situation. Right? So you have to be able to identify what real emotion, what real feeling that you're feeling right there so that you can get ahead of that before you move over to some action, some risky actions, right? Okay, so let's look at the next video and see. Okay, how do I go back here? Oops, oh, too far back.
What would you do in that situation though? You can't feed your family, money.
Okay, let's talk about that.
What you do about that situation? Like,
So going back to Will's situation that we were talking about.
is like a man can't feed his family. He feel less than a man, so he'll do everything in order to feed his family.
Okay, so even while